All right. I think we're good. I think we might have fixed the issue. I think we're good. I think we're good. We're good. I think we're good. I hope so. If not, I'm going to be really upset. I think we fixed the issues. There's always some technical difficulties here. Gotta love it. Technology. What's up, everybody? I think we're live on YouTube. I think we're officially live on YouTube. I don't know what happened. Bugging on me. But what's up? We're going to talk about training camp, joint practice. But we also want to talk about the game on Saturday, right? We got a game on Saturday, and roster cuts are coming up. And then we also have some news in the air today. There was a Deshaun Watson news today. That's kind of irrelevant. That's kind of relevant, right? That's kind of relevant. So Deshaun Watson guy, let's get right into that. Let's just dive into that, right? Let's just dive right into that. So Deshaun Watson, they got the ruling. They went from 6-game suspension to 11 games. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I think last week, somebody reported that if Deshaun Watson were to get more time, a longer suspension, that they'd consider getting Jimmy Garoppolo. But I don't think it's going to happen now. I think they've kind of accepted the fact that he's going to miss 11 games. He got $5 million. And I think it's, in their part, best off for them. You know, they're not going to take Jimmy for a year rental if they were to get him because he has a high salary. And not only that, it's only 11 games now. He's going to come back. And you'd have Jimmy on the books and Deshaun Watson, who's getting paid a lot of money. They gave up a lot to get Deshaun Watson. I think they're okay with Jacoby. They're going to roll the dice with Jacoby Brissett. Hopefully they can stay afloat. And they got talent on that team. You know, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett. They got Amari Cooper. So the Browns have some talent. That's a tough conference. I don't think they're going to throw the dice on Jimmy because Deshaun Watson will be back week 13 against the Houston Texans. Like, you know what? The Houston Texans, this is the craziest thing. The team that got rid of Deshaun, like the whole controversy, the game he comes back is against the Houston Texans. Like that, I don't know if you guys think about conspiracy theories or whatever, but that's kind of weird to me. What do you guys think about that? The fact that Deshaun Watson, first off, I was surprised he only got 11 games. And then the game he comes back to is going to be against his former team. Like, you couldn't have scripted it any better. That is absolute crazy script. Crazy. And then, so last week he says, I feel bad for all the, things that I've done, all the actions and the pain that I've caused. And then today he says, I stand by my innocence. Boy, they cooked him on that. At the end of the day, the big part of this story that relates to the Niners is I don't think Jimmy goes anywhere. I think he's going to stay on the roster until they cut him. I don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the Browns. I don't know if you guys think so. If you guys still think he goes to the Browns, I just don't see it. I think he's going to get cut from the roster, and somebody eventually will pick him up. I don't know. That's my take on it. But that's crazy. 11 games? 11 games? And he's coming back to play Houston? You couldn't have scripted any better than that. You couldn't have scripted it any better than that. What's up, everybody on Instagram? What's up, everybody on YouTube? We are live on both. Where do I look? Let's go. My man Jeff Nelson says, what's up, Raj? Nothing much. Hope you're doing good. Stone Cone Shape says, I feel the same. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Should be a year, says Niner Fans for Life. It should be a year. It's going to be a crazy year. Marcos Rodriguez on YouTube says, how is Q Knight doing? I heard he's actually looking pretty good in camp. They made some roster moves this week. They cut Darqueze Dennard, a veteran corner. So that must tell you that somebody's stepping up. And Quantrez Knight, from what I've read today, looked good. He stood out yesterday. He's making his name. He was an undrafted player. And the Niners always have a knack of finding this undrafted talent. That's a guy that, again, reporters are saying he's looking pretty good. So we'll see how he does in preseason game 2 against the Vikings. This is a guy to keep an eye out. I don't know if he makes the final roster, but they'll definitely keep him around to make the practice squad. Because, again, the Niners always find these gems, these late round, these undrafted gems, and then they turn them into starters. Emmanuel Mosley was an undrafted player. Azeez Al-Shahir was an undrafted player. So it's just another one of those players that they might turn into something special. But from what I've heard is Quantrez Knight has been looking pretty good over the last 2 days. This is pretty good, man. Pretty good day. Can we talk about how dude you had on live yesterday said CeeDee Lamb was a top 5 receiver? Like, what? That's my boy Smitty. If you don't know Smitty, he's the fantasy football guru. His take is he thinks CeeDee Lamb's the top 5. I'm going to let him speak on that next time we get him in, because I'm sure he can argue his way out of a paper bag. But again, I don't agree CeeDee Lamb's top 5 receiver. But I'll tell you what, Smitty is adamant that CeeDee Lamb is a top 5 receiver. And I mean, he makes good, valid arguments, but I don't think he's a top 5 receiver. But Smitty has a lot of confidence in CeeDee Lamb, and he's a pretty damn good fantasy football guy. But again, that wasn't my take. If I rank top 5, I don't have CeeDee in the top 5. But man, Smitty loves him some CeeDee Lamb. I think Ayuk could be better than him this season, but he's got to put in that work, and Trey's got to throw him the ball. But so far, the connection Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance has looked phenomenal. They've been sizzling in training camp. But wide receiver is a deep position in the NFL, so it is a very hard position to rank. Wide receiver in the NFL is very, very, very difficult. I mean, there's so many good receivers in this league. Justin Jefferson, who I think is the best. You got Jamar Chase. You got my boy Debo. You know, there's so many receivers. Devontae Adams, Diggs out in Buffalo, Tyreek Hill. There's a lot of good receivers in the league, man. This is a receiver-heavy league, pass-heavy league. I think CeeDee's good, but I don't think he's top 5 at all. Smitty will tell you differently, though. Oh, man. CeeDee is no ID, so CeeDee isn't even top 10. Man, you can argue it. I don't know. Maybe I think he's a top 10 receiver. I think by the end of the year, he'll be a top 10 because they did get rid of Amari Cooper. And I think what Smitty was saying is his target share is just going to increase because they don't have CeeDee or they don't have they don't have Amari Cooper anymore. So you think CeeDee Lamb's rate of catches is going to increase. I think that's where Smitty's going with it. But again, Cooper Kupp. I forgot to even mention Cooper Kupp. He's a top 3 receiver, 100%. How do I forget about Cooper Kupp? Probably because I hate the Rams. Oh, man. Let's get to some of these questions. Come to Chicago for the season opener. I want to go to that game really bad. Who's running back 2 so far? You know, that's a good question because going into these preseason games, I would have told you it's Trey Sermon. But he didn't really look too good against Green Bay. He looked a little slow. Rumors have it today that he had an ankle issue. I don't know. There was like a picture on Twitter, someone saying that he limped to the locker room. Is speculation. I don't know. We'll see what happens over the next day or so. If they'll, there's going to be an injury report. Shanahan's going to, announce some stuff tomorrow before the game on Saturday. I'm hearing that it could be the case, but again, it's nothing official, just speculation, stuff floating around on Twitter, something to keep an eye on. I don't know. Trey Sermon hasn't wowed over the last couple weeks, and I hope he's not hurt because that's a tremendous issue if it is true. So we'll see. We'll wait. Again, it's speculation that's going on Twitter from people that were close to the scene or whatever. There's a picture. Someone posted it. A couple of people have retweeted it. I think Dave Lombardi even said keep an eye on it. So we'll see. But right now, going into this weekend, honestly, I think TDP is your running back too. He's looked good. He's getting better. He looked very, effective that first game. Jordan Mason's a riser, man. Jordan Mason's a riser. He's a guy that I hope they don't cut because if they cut him, someone's stealing him. And then you got Jeff Wilson Jr., who he didn't get to play last week because of personal reasons. But when they made the depth chart last week, he was listed as running back too. I really think that Kyle Shanahan is a loyal Jeff Wilson guy. He really likes Jeff Wilson, He didn't get a chance last year really to do much because of the knee injury. He had the surgery, this and that. And then when he came back, he was still kind of getting into shape. He wasn't 100%. They went through a lot of running backs last year, so they need to have the depth. I like Jeff Wilson, but this preseason game is critical because on Tuesday, they have to make another 5 cuts. I don't know if they're going to keep all of these running backs, but I think they should because injuries are bound to happen. So it's going to be interesting. Next Tuesday, they have another set of roster cuts. They have to get 5 more people cut before the following week where they have to make 53. Let's see. Let's get to this. Debbie Friend says, I'm really not surprised at the length of suspension, but I think he deserves so much more. The NFL is a business, but they've disappointed 45% of their fan base. How's that good business? Yeah, a lot of people are not happy with the Deshaun Watson ruling. 11 games. I think a lot of people thought he was going to get suspended for a whole year. It's crazy. I mean, I thought he was going to get suspended a year. But at the end of the day, it's money, 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 and I think that's the root of everything in the NFL. It's a money grab, and it's a crazy business. But yeah, I definitely think that not everybody is happy with the Deshaun Watson ruling. I was surprised. I thought he was going to get suspended for a year because they were saying that's what they wanted, a whole year, 11 games. Still a significant amount of games, but I mean, he still gets to play the season. $5 million after signing, what was it, a 236 guaranteed contract? That's like a drop in the bucket for him. $5 million is nothing for him. I mean, it's a lot for us, but Jesus. No ID says, I want Sermon to do well. It's disappointing that he still doesn't look. Yeah, I know, man. I have high hopes for Sermon. I really want Trey Sermon to do really good. He's a guy that we had high hopes, third-round pick last year. He looked exciting in college, and I don't know what it is. The NFL is a different monster, though, and sometimes mentally it's tough to make that leap. So I really hope that Trey can turn it around. Again, it's speculation that he's hurt. I hope he's not, because he needs to have a solid performance this week, after last Friday. Let's see. Everyone has an opinion, 100%. Everybody has an opinion. I mean, we just go with what's presented to us. So ultimately, I don't know what happened. Nobody really knows what happened, unless you were in that situation, you don't know. Mason says, you just have to accept that some players are just bust. Mason, that is a true fact, but I hate to call. That's true. Sometimes you just have to call a spade, and some players are just busts. You're absolutely right. Some players are busts, but it's still early. He didn't even get to play last year. Sometimes people turn it around. Sometimes players turn it around. I'm hoping Trey Sermon turns it around, but you're absolutely right, Mason. Sometimes you just have to call the fucking player a bust. I don't know. Will we look back in 2-3 years and say, what a bust? I sure hope not, because I think he has talent. I don't know. We'll see. Cello Dwayne says, what's up with Jason Verrett? He has been rehabbing. He's been rehabbing, and he looks good. In training camp, I saw him running a lot. He was really progressing his rehab progress. And, his exercises were getting advanced. I saw him doing a lot of cutting stuff. He was doing just higher level activities on a daily basis. So it was a good sign. He was still off to the side field, but he was every morning out there doing something and really pushing the limits of that knee. But right now, there's no official timetable. Kyle Shanahan said he might be ready week 1, but we don't know yet. If we get a healthy Jason Verrett back, man, that is icing on the cake. But the thing is, they don't want to push him. They don't want to rush him. And Kyle said that too. He says he doesn't want to rush Jason Verrett because he's had a lot of injuries in his career. If they put him back too early, he can get hurt again, and then it would be a lost season again. So they're trying to be very careful with Jason Verrett, who's rehabbing from a torn ACL. Marcos Rodriguez following up on that. He says, Verrett going to take number 1? I don't think he takes the number 1 cornerback spot. He's going to be a great depth, a great veteran. He'll really be great on this rotation. But you got Emmanuel Mosley and Charvarius Ward. Emmanuel Mosley, he's in a contract year. He's primed for a breakout, a bigger breakout. And then Charvarius Ward, they paid him a lot of money, and he is looking to be that number 1 cornerback of this team. He was the big free agent signing, and I think Charvarius Ward is your cornerback 1. But having Jason Verrett there, a healthy Jason Verrett, the depth would be insane with Ward, Mosley, Verrett, and then you got Womack, who's kind of coming up, and you got Diamaro Lenore and Ambry Thomas, so you have a very good secondary right there. It's a very formidable secondary. Good veterans, young players in their prime, and then really young guys developing. And then Castro Fields was another guy they drafted too. So a lot of nice talent on this team. Stahl says some people just can't handle money, man. That's a true fact. Some people just can't handle money. I agree. C. Martin says, I still see Jennings being wide receiver 3. At this point, I think so, until someone comes up and steps up and steals it from him. He's still slated to have a big year. Shanahan says that Juwan Jennings is kind of a late bloomer, a late starter, a late riser. He kind of starts slow, and then he builds up. Even last year, middle of the season is when he kind of started taking off. So I like Jennings. I still think he's going to be a big-time red zone guy, a big third down guy. He's a professional chain mover, but he has to develop that chemistry with Trey. And I think that's where he's still figuring things out with Trey. It really depends on who Trey trusts to throw the ball. The more I see Danny Gray, the more I'm like, oh man, him and Trey are going to be a fantastic connection. Trey to Gray all day because you got Debo, you got Ayuk, you got Kittle. Those guys are going to be covered up. And if Danny Gray's on a third receiver or a third cornerback, if he's on a third cornerback and they just let him run that go route, Trey's going to see that man wide open and hit him a lot of times. This is going to be some Sports Center highlights with Trey to Gray. So as much as I think Jennings can still be that third receiver, you have a deep threat that we have not had in a long time. So I think Danny Gray is going to continue to climb up this ranking, this wide receiver ranking on the team. It's scary to think what they can do together. I mean, that deep pass together, they are dialed in. They are absolutely dialed in. They got Ray McLeod, who's going to be a little secret weapon. Scary, man. And I think Trey has a good connection with Gray. Like, those two guys are basically, they're similar in age. They're younger guys. And I think they vibe well together. They have a very, very good connection. Very good connection. Speedster, baby. What's up with Alfredo, the rookie? Not a rookie. He's in his second year international developmental program. And I think he's going to be out of the league in a year or two. He probably will make it to I don't think he'll make final roster. I hate to break it to you. I don't even think he makes the practice squad. Just doesn't look good out there. He just doesn't look good out there. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. He does not look good out there. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. Let's get to some of these. Oh, no ID says those stadium chants when Watson comes back are going to be ruthless. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Let's see if we got some more questions over here. Let's see. Let me get back to over here. Trade Jimmy for an O lineman. That's a good comment. That's a good one. Would Thomas or Verrett move to the slot? I don't think you move Ambry to the slot. I think Jason Verrett would probably have a better shot at playing slot. He's physical. He's tough. He looks like he can play inside, outside. Although Jason Verrett is phenomenal on the outside. I think you can move Jason Verrett to the slot. We've had this conversation before. Ambry Thomas, I think he's better suited on the outside, but you never know. I honestly like Sam Womack in the slot. If they're going to put anybody in the slot, it's Sam Womack. He looks like he's the future nickel. We've talked about that before. Sam Womack, man, this guy had an impressive debut. I hope he continues to build upon that. Who's the best running back right now on the Niners? Elijah Mitchell, but he has to stay healthy. And that's the issue with Elijah Mitchell is he missed 6 games last year. He had a hell of a season. He had knee surgery this offseason, and now he has a hamstring injury. So it's kind of scary that Elijah Mitchell is nursing another knee injury. He's the best running back on this team, but got to stay healthy. Sam Womack is a gem. He is. Where's Hufanga fit in this? He's balling. Yeah, Hufanga's your starting safety next to Jimmy Ward. This guy's a hitter, man. You saw that big hit the other day. Absolutely impressive. This guy's gotten better this year. He's got that vibe on the team that brings out the best in everybody. He's that high energy guy that you need on defense. Talanoa Hufanga, man, he's really improved in a coverage standpoint. Last year, a lot of people dogged him on his coverage, but I feel like he's gotten better at it this year. Definitely great against the run. But this guy's definitely improved second year in the league. I think there's going to be a big season for Hufanga. It's a fan favorite. The locker room seems to love him. You saw the mic'd up. He was giving everybody – every player has a different handshake for Hufanga. That's something I noticed. I think we talked about it several weeks ago in training camp. Like he went up to every single player every single day and gave him a different handshake. That's next level vibes. This guy's vibes are amazing. I just feel like Hufanga is going to be something that he's going to make some big plays this year. And we're like, oh man, Hufanga is a star. He's trained with Troy Polamalu. Like you could just feel like he has this like superstar potential in him. Like I don't know if he'll make a Pro Bowl this year, but he's going to have a vastly improved season this year. I think Hufanga is going to be a very important part of this team. So. The Slasher Gamer says, what's your opinion on Shanahan saying Lance has one good day of practice and one bad day? Well, he's telling you how it is. He goes, yeah, some days Trey Lance is good. Some days he's not. He's being honest. You know, some days when I was at camp, some days he didn't look good. Some days he looked better than others. But that's the thing is you go out there, you practice, you hone your technique. That's what practice is about. You're going to make mistakes, but you want to learn from all that. You have the film. You study that the next day, the next week before game day, and you learn from everything that you messed up. And then on game day, you're more prepared and you should have a good game. So I'm not too worried that he has bad days in practice. I'm not too worried he has good days in practice. Everybody has good days and bad days. He's going up against elite defenses and against the Niners. When he plays the Niner defense, they know his plays. They know his tendencies. It's the same defense. They know the plays on offense. So he should have a hard time. Our defense is elite, you know. So against joint practices, this is the first time he's really gotten different looks. You know, he's trying different things. The Niners, one of the things that Trent Williams said that stood out to me today in his press conference, he said that they didn't even prepare for this team. They just went into practice, and they just ran their installment. He said they didn't really prepare for this because they had a game, had a day off, and then right back to practice, and then joint practice. So then they had to travel a day. It's not like they were sitting there game prepping. It's a preseason game. So during the season, it's a whole different ball game. So it's interesting, you know. Trey Lance, I'm sure he was studying film, but the fact that they went in and they were just trying to see what the other team is running, and nobody really knows what Trey's doing. They're throwing different looks at him. The O-line's still a work in progress. So I'm not worried that he had a bad day against the Vikings, because overall, if you look at his overall last 2 days, he was 65% accuracy. Not bad. That's pretty good. And over the last 6 days compared to the first half of practice, I can't remember who tweeted it. I think it was Jack Hammer. He compared 2 halves of training camp. And the first half, you know, he was a little less accurate, but the last 6 practices, I think he's 62% accuracy. He's got 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, or 2 rushing touchdowns. He's improving. You can see that the more reps he has, he's improving. Of course, he's going to have some bad moments in practice. That's what practice is for. Practice makes perfect. So I'm not too worried that he has some bad practices, because overall, you see a lot of good in these practices. Just some of the passes he's made, yesterday. Whatever you think it was a good practice or not, I mean, just that deep connection he had with Danny Gray is something we saw in the game. And then the Debo pass. I mean, it was like a little flick of the wrist to Debo. Yeah, man. High Grain Design says 23 sacks for Bosa this year. Shit, man, I don't think that's impossible. He's been freaking killing people. I said Nick Bosa probably have 18 sacks this year, but I think he could have 20. This guy's Nick Bosa is just in insane shape. He's in the best shape of his career. To go. Breland says, what's your record prediction? I say 11-6. We talked about that many times. Macy says 42 sacks for Bosa this year. Oh my God. 42 sacks? You guys are crazy. Peter Rayo 117 says, do you think Nick Zakelj makes the team this year? I think he makes the practice squad this year, and he's the future center on this team. I think he's the future center. He's a very smart guy. One of the plans they had with this guy is to play him probably at center, future center. I think they'll redshirt him. They'll put him on the practice squad. He's been practicing taking center snaps the last in joint practices, and I even thought I saw him playing a little bit of center during training camp last week. So that's the guy I think that is the future center, but I think that he will ultimately make the practice squad this year. So Nick Zakelj, rookie, will probably be in the practice squad. That's my prediction. Good question. I like the guy as a future center. I mean, they drafted him, young kid out of Fordham. He's smart. There was a draft day video. I think they were asking him some baseball stats, and the guy was spewing out crazy stuff. He's literally a genius when it comes to sports knowledge. It's crazy. So my man, the Slasher, says, you're right. I think Shanahan looks at his potential, and he's giving him tough love. That's Shanahan, man. He's going to give you tough love. And if he doesn't give you tough love, you're not going to get better. And I like Shanahan for that. The fact that Shanahan gives Trey Lance the tough love, and the fact that he gives him, he's not going to make it easy for Trey. He did that with Brandon Ayuk. He didn't make it easy. These guys are talented. Of course they're talented. They wouldn't be in the NFL. The Niners wouldn't draft them. But if Shanahan is making your life a living hell and he's pushing you to get better and he's giving you tough love and he says, well, yeah, yesterday you weren't good enough. Yesterday you were bad. That's Shanahan telling you, do better. That's just the way he works. He pushes these guys. It's tough love. But in the end of the day, he knows that if they can overcome that tough love and then they can overcome, the criticism from Kyle, they're going to be good. Look at Brandon Ayuk, man. Last year, the guy was in the deepest depth of the doghouse. And now he's the top dog. So, Target came in clutch. Target does come in clutch, AO. Shout out to Target for the Biggie Small shirt. Darth says, I have hella shirts from Target. Yo, Target's the spot. They got some fresh shirts, man. I like these shirts. You go to Target, you go up to the little, the graphic tee section. You got a freaking dope little set. 2 shirts, $20. I got a Street Fighter shirt from them. Got the Biggie shirt. They got cool shirts, man. They come in clutch. Jesus is here. What's up, Jesus? What's up, my man? Appreciate y'all jumping in on the YouTube. How many interceptions are we expecting from Trey Lance? I mean, he's going to have a good share of interceptions. He's a young guy. He's going to make mistakes. I say max he's going to have 12 interceptions. That was my prediction. I think he'll have 12 interceptions. I think they'll have 12 interceptions. Right? I say 12. I don't know. What do you guys think? 12 interceptions? I think that's fair. 10 to 12. 10 to 12. Oh, Tupac or Biggie Smalls. Man, I like them both. If I had to pick one, I go Tupac. But it's like razor thin close. Y'all in the comments, YouTube, who do you like better, Tupac or Biggie Smalls? Instagram, let me know, Tupac or Biggie. That's a tough question. God. Are you watching the Bears game? No, I'm streaming right now. I probably will end this soon and watch the Bears game. I was hoping to see you on Brick by Brick. I thought I was going to get on that, man. I was all over that place. They didn't get me on the cameras. Next year, I'll do a better job. It's pretty split, Tupac, Biggie. Tupac, it is not even close. Instagram looks like they like two. Oh, there's some Biggies. Tupac. Hey, Peter Parker, my man, says Tupac. Joseph Douglas is Tupac. Oh, man. Bears. What's the score of the game? I might need to turn it on and watch. This tough. It's a tough question. Does Trey play Saturday? I don't think so. I don't think he's going to play. There was a media question yesterday to Kyle Shanahan. It was funny, right? It was so funny. He got the reporter says, "Oh yeah, is Trey Lance? He's from Minnesota. Any chance that he gets to play in his home crowd?" And Kyle's like, "Oh, he is from here. That's really nice." No. Pretty much basically told him, I'm not telling you that information. But I don't think Trey Lance plays this weekend against his home team. I think that they'll wait for the final game, and he'll play that week 3 game or that week 3 preseason game against Houston Thursday night game. And I think that's the reason is this game's Saturday, and then you have a short turnaround Thursday night. You don't want to play him too many games. You don't want to play too many games because they've had so Saturday, boom, game, and then another week you have this Saturday, another game, and then boom, Thursday you have another game. That's 3 quick games. You don't need Trey Lance to be getting fatigued and tired and worn out before the season starts. They're going to make sure they preserve his energy, get him a couple of snaps and a couple of reps, maybe a few drives. The third game against Houston, let him dot him up, throw a few touchdowns to Danny Gray and Brandon Ayuk, make everybody go crazy, and then you got 16, 17 days till we play the Bears and destroy them. So Joey says the joint practices are better than the game for Trey. And yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, that's such a good point, Joey. What's up, my man? Go follow Joey on 49ers Hive, TikTok. This guy crushes it. I love this dude. Such a good content creator. But I agree. The joint practices, he got a lot of action against another team for 2 straight days. They threw different looks at him. He got pass rush. He played against the ones on another team. And I think that right there is the best point that you can make of this whole last week, going against the Vikings. Like, yeah, game situation would be phenomenal for him, but he got to play 2 days back-to-back against the ones with another team. And I think that was really Great preparation and great practice for him. So I think Shanahan's okay with what he learned these last 2 days. Let him rest because again, there's a big roster cut coming on Tuesday. They have 5 more players they have to cut. This is Bubble City. This is nitty gritty. You got to get on the roster. So let's let some of these other guys that the Niners may not know if they're going to make the team or not. Let them get their opportunity. We know Trey Lance is making the team. He's your quarterback one. So I think they need to let some of these other players get their opportunity and go to work on Saturday. This is what it's all about. Some of these guys may not make the roster, so give them a chance to put some film out there for another team to potentially pick them up. Like we had Josh Hackett sign with the Cardinals today. Keyshawn Johnson signed with the Falcons. These guys signed with another team. They were able to get that opportunity to get some film out there. And, it sucks that we lose players, but these guys still are looking for a job. So we need to give the players that are still looking for that opportunity that may not make the team or the practice squad all the opportunities to continue to work. So that is what the preseason's all about, and I'm all about it. So that is pretty much it for today. I'm going to go watch these games, and we'll chop it up. I might drop on a little later on Instagram with my boy Smitty, but I just want to say I appreciate you guys for all the support. I'm going to keep the content coming. Thank you for those that continue to support the YouTube. We hit the magic numbers. We got 4,000 watch hours this week, and I couldn't be more excited. I couldn't be so much, honestly, this is amazing, man. I went full-time on this, and you guys have been supporting me from the jump like you always have, and I truly appreciate it. So the more I get, the more, support we get, the more things we can do. This is just the start. There's so many things ideas I have. But, it takes time to get there. Rome wasn't built overnight, but truly, truly, truly appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys a little later, probably on Instagram. So appreciate y'all. Have a good day, and let's get a good win this weekend. All right. Boom, boom, bang, bang. Nana gang. Let's go. Where do I end first? Who do I end first? Should I end the YouTube first? Let's end the YouTube. Appreciate y'all.